Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I've got to go with a second there. I'm Dear Darling, and let's see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. You'll be glad to know that I've actually started the next Fawnhallow for the one which is following off Goodbye Volcano High. I've sort of like mentally decided myself that like at the end of doing Reed's route, I'm like, okay, that's probably enough. Like we saw Trish's route, we saw Reed's route. I mean, I guess we saw Stella's as well, my favourite character. I'm like, that's probably good enough. Because I was like, I definitely can't go through just skipping and talking about nothing, I suppose, again, for 7 more episodes just to see, like, one extra scene with Sage or, like, Rosa or something. So I apologise, you know. But anyway, good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 9:58pm on Thursday, January 25th, 2024. But I made the mistake of trying to 100% the game before, despite the fact that I wasn't actually all that into it after I've beaten the main game. So, despite the fact I am a perfectionist, I should also be realistic with myself and be like, you know, will this sour my enjoyment of a game afterwards? And the answer is, I thought about it and I was like, yeah, it probably would if I just continued to do every single character path. So I stopped. Well, I haven't stopped yet. I will finish off Reeds because at least that's new dialogue, Reeds and Sage, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm drawing the next Fawnhallow. It's a fun one, I would say. I'm breaking my rule of drawing D as the main character, I suppose, because I feel like, I mean, I probably mentioned what the game was in like the start of a new year, I suppose, and that's normally what I do. But I think there's a character in it who is more iconic for D to be from this game rather than the main character, and it's actually the only reason I know this game in the first place is because I saw it in like a video game thing, and then like I can't even remember it. Don't doubt yourself. I have no idea what you were even talking about, Raymond. I saw it in like some video game analysis. I think it was like in indie games you might not have played, maybe by like Rasputin or something. And then literally the top comment was, this character is this character from this game. Because apparently so many people, here's a hint I suppose, fasting over this character. It's very funny. Well, it's not really that funny, I'm going to be honest. Like, I suppose it's not actually funny in the slightest. You might get like a model out of it, but that's probably it. Yeah, what should we talk about today? What's happening? There was definitely something I was meant to talk about, and I keep remembering it after I finish recording the video, and then I'm like, I forget about it until like I need to record again, and then after I probably finish recording this, I'll be like, oh, that was what I was wanting to talk about. I cannot remember for the life of me what on earth it was. So, I mean, it wasn't important or anything. I was just like, that would make a good conversation topic. So I guess we'll talk about something else. Honkai Star Rail, next patch coming soon. Genshin Impact in a week after that. It's going to be dangerous because I'm low on currency, and it's going to be dangerous for me putting my characters, I will say. Not completely outrageously dangerous, I suppose. You know, I think I have a good chance to get the Star Rail one. The Genshin one, I think it's reasonable, but there's a chance I don't. I would be surprised, though, is perhaps how I'd put it. Yeah, what was I going to talk about? You might be like, what song do you have stuck in your head today, dear darling? I have Beyond the Way from Project Sakai stuck in my head. A bit high, I'm straining my voice now. Sorry. Yeah. Well, what am I going to talk about? I already talked about Palworld yesterday. I actually saw more of Palworld today. I can't remember one where I saw it. No, I think it was in an r/games discussion, and I realised it was basically Pokemon with guns, you know, unsurprisingly. But then I like actually read the comments, I suppose, on that post or something, and apparently that game is like way more. I don't know what the word I would use is, depraved. But you might know. Okay, depraved makes it sound like sinful or something, which is not what I really meant. But it's like you can like murder the pals or something, and like I don't know. It's basically like. Not sort of M-rated, but it's like more adult-rated-esque. I mean, even that is a wrong impression, I suppose, unless we're talking about that one Pokemon, sorry, that one pal. You know what I'm talking about. But it was on an r/games discussion, I think, about that one or something. I can't remember exactly where I saw it, and I was just like, this can't be real, and it was real, and I went, wow, okay. You can look it up. It's number 69, I suppose, in the PAL Pokemon Dex or whatever. I looked at it and I was like, what? This can't be real. And alas, it is real. Yeah. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. That's not really the most interesting thing to talk about. I mean, there is something to be said there, I suppose. But I mean, this POW, I suppose, is more like a parody, I suppose, of anything. So I guess it's kind of leaning tongue in cheek right into the joke rather than anything else in particular. Well, probably. It's just, I don't know. So sometimes you see something, you go, really? And then it's like, wow, that's 100% exactly how it is. That's not what I was going to talk about today, but I don't know. We're still feeling around 5 minutes in, feeling around for a conversational topic. I saw that Nintendo actually responded to the accusations levied against Palworld, against, like, for I don't know, like, basically making Nintendo aware of it, because it's like, I guess people think it's like infringement on Pokemon copyright or something, which, as far as I can tell, it's not. It's like a knockoff version of the game, but it's not like, that's not how our copyright system works. It's not like you make something which is derivative of something else and you sufficiently change it enough, and you don't get to be like, oh, that's copyrightable, I suppose. Otherwise, then nothing can be derivative of something else, which probably feels like it's artistic stagnation, if anything. Let's see. Let's look at r/games. Let's try and find what I was talking about. People Make Games. Oh yeah, that was an interesting thing. There's a People Make Games video, if you don't know, their YouTube channel, who talk about people and games, I suppose, in general. Not just like video games, as far as I can tell. Like, I've seen one of their episodes. I think it was about making a sport or something. Oh no, it was about kabaddi. I think they also had one about making a sport. Maybe that was a different YouTube channel. I can't remember. Wow, this is crazy. I didn't expect to see this on r/games. The global version of Love Live School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live announces its February 2024 launch. And its subsequent end of service May 31st, 2024. Whoa, it's shut down already? I was going to say, I thought this launched already. What? How? It's going to launch and then shut down for 3 days? Oh, wait, what? School Idol Festival 2 is shutting down in Japan as well? Huh? Coming out for 4. Okay, hold up. Conversational swerve here. We're taking a detour. This is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. Okay, so basically, Love Live is like a multimedia franchise. It's actually the first idol franchise I got into. But it's a multimedia franchise based around the concept of school idols, I suppose, in Japan. You might be like, what is school idols? I don't know. Like, if I were to westernize it, it's basically like pop star. Like, it's about the story of people wanting to become like a pop star and musicians and dancers, I suppose, in like that sense of a group performers, and that sort of sense, I guess. It's like the equivalent of like starting a rock band, I suppose, but the pop version of starting like a rock band. You start like a pop group. It's like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. And I tend to like it because they tend to be sort of like ensemble focused genres, I suppose, with a strong focus on like music and characterization. So, obviously that sort of makes me go, woo! That's like what I like to see in a story. It's weird because Love Live is something I started following like back in secondary school. So I was probably like 14 or something. Was I about 14? I might have been a bit older than that, I can't remember. So somewhere in that range when I started following, and here I am 12 years later. I mean, I don't follow Love Live anymore, to be perfectly honest. I sort of like vaguely know what's going on because I see news. I sometimes check out like the news about it here and there. But Love Live released a game called School Idol Festival. It was basically a mobile capture rhythm game. The music game was the first one I played, and in retrospect, it was like the worst one I played. Like out of all the systems, like incredibly stingy, to be perfectly honest. And it did not innovate in gameplay in the slightest for like the entirety that I played it. But it was, it was based around a very popular IP in the first place or whatever. So that game ran from like when I started, it had probably been out for like a year. It had probably been out for 2 years in Japan. So it probably ran, and then it shut down when? Not too long ago, I think, like maybe a couple years ago. So it ran for like 7 years, maybe 8 years or something. And then it like shut down. It's a shame when these games shut down in the first place, because I don't really see why they necessarily need to shut down. Obviously, probably from a business standpoint, they're shutting down, so they're like, okay, we'll shut down and then we'll reopen like the next sequel game so we can make more money off of whales again, who have to like buy all their cards again, essentially, which is predatory business practices in the kindest framing of that word. It's not a word, it's a phrase, but yeah, so they had School Idol Festival, and then it shut down. Like, you could kind of see the writing on the wall when, but like the updates got really infrequent. I wasn't even playing by that point or anything. And then it shut down, like, sort of quite ceremoniously, in a way of which actually people were quite upset by, because I remember that there was a thing where, like, you could transfer data, like, some of your data from the first one to the second one, but you could not do it if you lived in the EU. Not even if you lived in the EU, if you ever went to the EU and connected to the internet there and School Idol Festival, it had like a tracker or something, it had a flag, and because of like data laws or something, it's not really data laws, it's actually more of a company who ran it, like K-Labs or whatever, were not great, I suppose, at running that game in the first place. Not very consumer focused, shall we say. Anyway, so they had School Idol Festival 1, that shut down. But before the end of School Idol Festival 1 shut down, they released a new game, because they had like a new branch, I suppose, coming out. Because those are the main 9 characters who then like retired, and then they brought in another 9. And then they were just like, wait a minute, why are we retiring these characters? Let's just keep them all around, I suppose. So then they brought in like another 11 or something for the next generation. And they made like School Idol Festival All Stars, which was like it was also like a rhythm game, but it was like slightly different. It was like way simplified, and from what I hear, a lot more boring. But the card art was kind of cool, like some of them. they decided, hey, let's go a bit more hard, I suppose, with the background and lighting effects and rendering in the card art, which is, you know, I guess cool to see. And then that shut down. Like, I mean, the first School Idol Festival 1 shut down. No, All Stars shut down first, I think, and then School Idol Festival 1 shut down. But it was like, whoa, School Idol Festival 2 is coming out. And people went, wow, crazy. And then it came out pretty recently, I suppose. And then it's like, well, there's going to be a global version. And apparently, the Japanese version of it has shut down. It will be shutting down on May 2024, which is crazy. I think probably what happened is that Love Live has very much missed the boat now when it comes to having a peak popularity and target audience. Because, I mean, back when I played, there wasn't really much competition in that sort of like gacha music game genre. And you might be like, in the West, of course, you've never heard of it. But, you know, I'm talking about like in Japan, I suppose, like wherever the competition lies, because that's, of course, their target audience. At the time, there wasn't really much competition. There was a Love Live School Idol Festival. I don't even know Starlight Stage had started at the point Love Live started. I think Starlight Stage might have started like a year or two afterwards. And then, what else? Like, Bandori started like a couple years after. I don't even know what other ones there was. I guess Ensemble Stars as well, but I think Ensemble Stars was like a management simulator, as was the first Idol Master, or something like that to begin with, so maybe those don't really count. I honestly don't know. But now, you know, they released it. Now they have like a lot more competition. Obviously, Starlight Stage is still going strong. Project Sakai is like the go-to sort of mobile gacha rhythm game at the moment, and it's definitely my favourite at the moment. What else is like Bandori is still doing reasonably well for itself, I suppose. Like Bandori's anime series, I hear, is absolutely popping off. Like Anime Maiko apparently was like crazy good, which is, you know, wild to hear. Like, around, like, good for them is what I say. Like, I don't play that game anymore, but so be it. Like, there's like loads of other games now, I suppose, competing with them. So I guess it's kind of surprising to hear that it shut down, to be perfectly honest. I thought the power of a franchise meant it could keep it going, but maybe they just like, the business execs were just like, we don't really see the point of keeping this going anymore when, you know, we could just make money off like selling merch or something. School Idol Fest. So it's crazy that they announced the global launch in February 2024 and then also immediately announced its closure in May 1st, 2024. In fact, the School Idol Festival 2 is ending on March 31st, 2024. That's crazy. 100% inevitable with limited improvements, quality of life updates. Okay, so it was basically the same thing again. The same problem that Love Live School Idol Festival 1 had, where it was just like they didn't innovate, they didn't like improve the game enough. And then, you know, they could get away with it when they were the only, they had like more of a monopoly on the market. But now with so much competition, people are just going to be like, hey, you know, the only reason I'm playing this is for the franchise. But, you know, you can engage with a franchise in other ways. There's a writing on the wall. Biggest selling point for that is you can play every Love Live game in the series. What? Make it stand on like Project Sky Bandori. Some of that for it is that you can play every Love Live game in the series, and it's just Sif again with slightly modern UI. Nothing about it is appealing to anyone besides established fans. Exactly. Informing what made Sif work can be adapted to new games without sacrificing much of a core gameplay experience. So it's not like this couldn't have been avoided, because it could have had. Love Live is a huge IP in Japan. No joke. I don't know if it is anymore, but it was probably the biggest sort of like idol franchise in Japan. I don't know if that's necessarily true. And AKB48 is probably still bigger, as I understand. You are... I know your name. You're not Hugh. I don't know your name. Dark! I was... In my head, I can tell you what I was thinking. I was like, I think it's like Dottie, but I was like, I know who Dottie is. Dottie is not you. Dottie is like the normal peppy rabbit villager. That's actually crazy. Oh, it was only 16 hours ago now. It's no wonder I hadn't heard about this. Global opening for 3 months and closing right other. That is crazy. You can't imagine something more cash grabby than, hey, we're going to release this gacha game and we are going to close it in 3 months. Like, why even bother at that point? Like, I guess you're trying to squeeze, like, whatever money you can out of it. But, like, how many people are going to see that and be like, yo, I'm going to spend on something which I'm going to have for 3 months? What? It's actually crazy. Love Live is huge in Japan, but never in game side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's big on the franchise. The game is still Idol Master's domain. Oh, Idol Master's getting hard pressed. That's true. Starlight Stage is cut down on content. But to be fair, Starlight Stage had like 4 years where they just like ramped up to a ridiculous amount of levels, the amount of content they had. They were releasing. I think now it's basically dropping down to before those days, which is fair, I suppose. Steady drop in profits every month for 30 days. Also experiencing the same profit drop while Song for Prism isn't earning well. That's fair, I suppose. Like I am playing a bit of Song for Prism, but it's not actually all that exciting. I think like the rhythm game aspect isn't as fun, I feel like, compared to some of the others, but I still like Shiny Colors' actual main game more. That's so crazy. Civ was revolutionary. Yeah, it was revolutionary, but then, you know, if you are revolutionary, you can't become complacent in that sort of like initial seed that you plant. Because, you know, being first on the scene is not enough. I mean, it's enough for a while, but then, like, when other people start coming to the scene and start doing what you're doing better, you got to, you know, keep up or you fall behind, right? You got to keep that momentum going. Unsurprisingly, people are upset on the Love Live subreddit. Close in less than years. Has it actually been less than a year? That is insane. Sakura? I remember when School Idol Festival 2 was released, I looked at actually all the like release cards and I was like, I'm not very impressed with the artwork, to be perfectly honest. Like it still feels dated. It's basically what I remember when I looked at it. Is there still like a site to see all the image? Okay, it's fantastic. We must become school idols to stop this game from shutting down. That was basically the plot of the first Love Live. Was that? I must say, it's like a nonsensical plot, isn't it? It doesn't make sense in my... Like, it seems strange in my head. Like, I guess I can follow through the logic, but it's also like, what? But basically, it's like their school is shutting down, I guess because of financial reasons. So their response is, we got to make the school popular again. So we're going to become school idols to become like celebrities, and people will want to come to our school and study there. I mean, like, well, that may be true, and I suppose in the advent of like stan culture, or all these like K-pop groups and that sort of thing, maybe that would be true. Maybe some like K-pop people were like, I'm going to go to this person's school to, you know, because that's like where BTS went or something. But I'd imagine most of like the current K-pop idols probably went to like an artistic school in the first place, so I don't know. I guess if you really wanted to be an idol, you'd go to that school. And I haven't really thought this through, to be perfectly honest. But I can't imagine, one, it would work all that well. I mean, I guess it kind of does, because I guess their band in general, or their group in general, was tied to the concept of their school. So I guess it kind of gets their school popularity. But there's no way that if it's already decided, like, you're going to have to have a crazy, like, not turnover, like, what's the opposite of turnover? Like, uptake rate, I suppose, in that one period you're promoting for to actually have it done. Anyway, I'm going to read, like, the subreddit, because I have no idea what is going on for this stuff. For School Idol Festival. Honestly crazy. Anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New... I can't get over it. Announcing a game is going to be released, and then a game as a service being released, and then shutting down 3 months later is insane. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. It's actually crazy.